smell it. I was in the store the other day, the person in front of me was vaping. He said, well, this isn't smoking, I can do it here. But the manager came right over and said, no, you're going to leave. You can't vape in here. But it's everywhere.
Isn't it the same as secondhand smoke? I mean, you're still going to get something.
I believe that it's still a nuisance. It interferes with your right for a peaceful existence, even to walk, to shop, to do anything. And I believe that you shouldn't have to have that interfering. And there are signs everywhere, no vaping, no vaping. Like if you go to Blackstone, the bookstores and stuff, they don't want people vaping in there. The movie theaters now, people are vaping in there, you can smell it. And so it's just so easy because it's so small. But I've seen people vape all night and then call an ambulance in the morning because they can't breathe. So it does interfere with the alveoli in exchange of the carbon dioxide for oxygen. I believe that it isn't, but I think that's something that the selectmen want to talk to the board about what they can do and what control the board would have. Unfortunately, when they were going to do it, my daughter was having a baby, so I canceled.
Well, that's allowed.
So,
congratulations.
But certainly, I did reach out to Cheryl Sabaro, the senior staff attorney, to try and get more information. She has not gotten back to me. I know she's very busy. But
Yes, Kathleen.
Yeah, so I did an internet search because I really didn't know very much about vaping, just general information, and so I learned a lot. And it's really kind of fascinating, the whole thing. It is better than smoking cigarettes. And a lot of people that wouldn't smoke cigarettes are vaping. However, there is nicotine, and so it's a problem. Some of I picked out 3 pretty good websites that have a lot of information, and I can give them all to you. But I'll just briefly go over one of them. Basically, vaping suppresses your immune system, which is really dangerous for teenagers who are susceptible to all kinds of stuff. You don't want your immune system maybe susceptible to illness, infection, and diseases. I'm just briefly doing this. Vaping can still damage your lungs because it does have nicotine in it.
Plus
And,
other chemicals.
It's called obliterative bronchitis.
bronchitis.
Bronchitis. Okay, and then the nicotine is destructive to the body. You know about nicotine. Vaping may cause cancer because of the e-liquid is potentially a toxic chemical, like you mentioned. And when it's used in an e-cigarette, propylene glycol is vaporized until it degrades and often becomes formaldehyde. In fact, an EHP study of 97 varieties of e-cigarettes found that over 50% of them contained formaldehyde, among other irritating effects. Irritating formaldehyde is known to cause cancer.
So it's not much different than
the 5th one is really kind of scary. I mean, they can explode. There's a video here of a guy who was vaping and the damage on his neck. Basically, e-cigarettes are battery powered, and in order to vaporize the e-liquid for smoking, making these devices a possible ticking time bomb. The U.S. Fire Administration, it said 80% of e-cigarette explosions occur due to a systemic malfunction during charging. The other 20% of the time, combustion occurs at random times without warning. Similar to the situation in the video above, and it has a really scary looking video. And vaping, finally, vaping isn't necessarily the cure for tobacco. Nearly every proponent of vaping argues that e-cigarettes are saving millions of tobacco smokers by providing a safe new habit. Although some doctors concede that e-cigarettes are better than normal cigarettes, they don't seem to be helping many tobacco smokers. According to a poll from Reuters, 75% of Americans who vape are using tobacco products at the same time. So these are all good reasons. And then there's 2 other sites that I think are really good about what parents can do to get their kids to stop vaping.
Keep these so we got them.
Yeah.
I mean, have them handy.
I will.
Perfect.
And
Yes.
the both of the sites are good for parents to help the kids smoke. And of course, what we've done recently by assisting with the age to sell cigarette products is 21. You see in all the stores now. That will help with the vaping.
It will, because they follow the
And
same
that's some
tobacco
action
laws.
that we've just taken, so
Right.
that's a good thing to mention.
And all the municipalities did go to 21.
So for all tobacco and vaping products and chew and everything else, anything that's got anything.
Did an inspection today of the new, it's called the one on 169 used to be the liquor and deli mart. They're trying to open up. And I walked in and they had baskets right out with cigarettes everywhere. It's a violation of tobacco law. You cannot have cigarettes out where a minor or going because it's a store that they can come out to pick it up and steal it and smoke. They have to be behind a counter with no one to reach and get them. So I have to continually do checks to make sure that these products are behind the counter and they're not accessible to minors.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so just to clarify, when it comes to the vaping and the meeting with selectmen, what information or what action are they looking from us, from a public health and view standpoint? Like, are they trying to say like the age limit or locations or what?
Just asking for advice.
Yeah, no, it just sounds like a brainstorming type session.
I think because some of the parents were concerned too, that 13-year-olds are bringing these products in because they're very easy to hide. You can hide them in your hand, no one's gonna see them. That kids even younger now are able to take these and vape.
They look like a pen.
They look like a pen, they're so small. So they're easy to hide, and younger kids are able to get a hold of these because they're able, it's almost like they can hide them quicker. And the teachers are concerned that 13-year-olds are in school vaping. So that's something that they want to bring to attention to the local towns to say, hey, what are the towns doing to make sure that the young kids aren't vaping? And like Kathleen said, we already did, we went to 21.
Right.
Which now that vaping has to be 21. So anyone who's vaping under 21 is breaking the law, so that's an issue.
So I guess what I'm saying is, so what else, I mean, other than to discuss it, are we trying to say, listen, no vaping in public places, or, I mean,
What I was thinking was that some of the examples that I saw in here are parents allowing their children to vape because they don't understand. So I really think it's a question of educating people.
I see what you're saying.
Especially the parents, so because it is better than smoking cigarettes. It's still alcohol, so you might say, well, beer is better than drinking scotch, but no.
Right.
And it's still nicotine, which is
Still
one of, other than heroin, it's one of the most addictive substances on earth.
The pen or the vehicle they're using to take in the vape can also be used for marijuana, so,
Right.
so the kids could be smoking marijuana too.
So,
They're not supposed to be doing it.
I don't think this board can do anything other than try to educate, and I think that is absolutely something this board should be doing, because there could be a lot of people that are out there thinking, hey, they're not smoking, they're vaping. Okay, did you know vaping has this negativity to it, it's this, and this.
Right.
And maybe the best we can do, other than talk about it on TV or whatnot, is to get a link up on the website, maybe something on our website that says do not vape, check our link out or something like that, but,
That's what I was thinking as well.
yeah, I agree with that, and in the past on certain things, we've reached out to the schools, because it sounds like the education is at that age, and we don't know what the schools are doing, so maybe we can suggest to the schools that they have like a no vape, not a policy, but
I know they do suspend kids for vaping now.
yeah, some type of an awareness though, like, always like in high school or whatever, you'd always see no smoking signs, you know what I mean, that awareness. Maybe there's a way to, you know, to bring it out, no vape, to educate.
I mean, this video of the kid who got his face kind of half burnt, not terribly, but it looks terrible. I mean, that kind of a video is kind of scary and shocking, because, I mean, if you're holding something that could possibly blow up in your face, and it did. something like that might scare kids too. I know, at the Bay Path, not prom time, they used to show two completely wrecked cars.
They still do.
They still do
Yeah,
that.
I think so.
It's
One or
really scary
two.
to see the
Yeah.
cars and, to shock kids into not drinking.
Mr. Chair, just talking out loud, but, you know, in my day, if you will, there was the slogan, say no to drugs.
Mhm.
And ultimately, I believe they changed that slogan, and it's like, not now, maybe later. But it's no longer say no to drugs.
Oh, jeez.
And it's specific about marijuana. Jim, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
They've kind of changed that theme from say no to drugs to saying
Just
not
wait
now.
until after you're 21 and then.
They're hoping they can inform you and you can make an informed decision when it's time to make a decision so they've changed that up.
And to me, this vaping seems like it's, well, it is a drug, you know.
Yeah.
It's habit forming.
And it's habit forming and it's nicotine, and nicotine is very, very difficult to undo once you're doing it.
No, I smoked for 15 years.
It's tough.
I smoked for 20.
It's
Back
tough.
in for
One of
20.
the toughest things I ever did was quit smoking.
And so maybe,
Probably for you too, right?
Yeah.
maybe we could promote some type of way to just make that awareness, like you're saying, to educate. You know, a no vape day and National No Vape Day.
Jim, have you come across anything from the state or?
They're behind in the vaping stuff. And now with the change to 21, which included that vaping, there's no enforcement ability under the nuisance. What am I supposed to do to a young kid that's 14 years old that's vaping? Am I gonna try and run them a ticket or something? I'm not a cop. I mean, it's tough to enforce someone on the fly. If someone's in public and you called and they're vaping, that would be, is that against the law? Can they vape next to you? And that's the question. Can they vape in public?
It should be the same as cigarettes.
It's the same as cigarettes.
You wouldn't allow somebody to smoke a cigarette on school property or in town hall
Exactly. And if you-
or in the library or
And
whatever.
if you
It
look
should be
at
the same for
the
vaping.
overlook, you see people that are way, way down. They have to be 75 feet from the property line in order to smoke it. People will go out in the pouring rain and freezing cold, and they have to walk almost down to where the Charlton Food Mart is to smoke.
Yeah.
But-
And they'll still do it.
But here's the difference. On that, you say do this or what? For those people, it's probably do this
Yeah, or
or
you're
don't
fired.
come on the property, you're fired.
Yeah.
Right.
But to the 14-year-old kid that says or what, how
Well,
do
what-
you police
What
it?
am I supposed to do?
What can you do?
What can you
Well,
do?
You can only just keep educating kids too.
Right, and I think that's the problem with they're concerned that the kids going to school and young kids are able to get these vaping materials. But I think going to 21 was a good thing because it encompassed the vaping, which now they were buying at 18, now it's to 21 right away and they can't buy that. So I need to make sure and assure that people aren't selling any of the products, and that's the problem. People are able to get it from someone else.
Can you buy the vape products online?
Yeah,
So you don't have to necessarily be 21 either?
Nope. buy anything online.
Say
now.
you are, but
Yeah.
you can still buy them if your parents give you.
Your
that.
parents sign on, and if you get on your parents' account, they're already logged in with their account, and you can buy what you want.
But then it goes back to educating the parent. And the parents have to start understanding that this is better than smoking cigarettes, but it's still very bad.
Not
It
the
just-
alternative.
No, it's not.
And the kids' minds, kids' brains are not, they say a child's brain doesn't get really fully developed until they're 26. So, they're still have difficult judgments that they make. That's why teenagers give us all such a hard time.
Yes.
But I will do my homework to get, I'm not sure what, I think the selectmen just trying to be proactive, to see what the board thinks
That's a
about
good
it being a
idea.
nuisance and about it, and what Charlton is doing to educate and to bring this forward. I think the school is doing that. I think that the state is way behind in vaping, they've concentrated on marijuana at this time.
Jim, what are the schools doing? Do you know? Are they doing
I'm
it?
not, Jamie is on the school committee in Dudley Charlton, so I was talking to her about it. I didn't get enough information from her, but I know it's a concern. It's being brought up at every school district, and I will talk to John LaFleche, the superintendent, and see what they're doing about vaping.
Mhm.
But I know it's not allowed on school property. No smoking of any kind of materials is allowed.
Do we have anything on our local Board of Health website on vaping?
That's something before I put it on, I wanted to update the board with the changes to 21. We have put that on there. We try and update our site and keep it going. It is changing. Someone else is putting on the website, but I would put the vaping laws on there also with the board's permission to update that on the vaping laws, which, if you read this, doesn't say much.
No.
No, but it's still Massachusetts law, so,
Mr.
yes.
Chairman? So, just in conversation, could this board maybe come up with our own 2 cents on the vaping and on our website and say, do not vape, vaping is not the alternative, or whatever we say, but put an awareness and not the law, I mean, have a link for the law,
Yep.
but just a clear cut, did you know vaping is bad, like, just throw it out there.
Yeah,
And this, and this, and this.
and some of these links that you've got too,
I
even if you get a few kids on there, or parents,
I think the way to reach children is through the school
yeah.
and through the library. I don't think children, our website, if you count how many people get on it, not a lot of people get on the website they get on for Title V stuff. They'll pull off stuff, but we can put materials out here. It doesn't get out there. I think you need to have a purpose day where if they're gonna have a fair or something, that you would talk about vaping and the dangers of vaping, and I think that's something that maybe they're looking for, is an awareness situation through the board.
We just, I was just through the chair, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
We just had an Earth Festival meeting, and on Earth Festival, we have a fair on the common, and vendors come on, like the recycling committee, and people that sell honey and different things like that. I wonder if we could do some kind of presentation there, because there's a lot of kids there and parents on
I
this
think
day.
the whole thing is kind of confusing because now towns are accepting marijuana. Marijuana is accepted by the state, which is, in the past was legal, and now we're trying to concentrate on vaping, which seems so minute, but it's so important because it's the beginning of where they start tobacco, because it does contain nicotine, yet the state has allowed you to smoke marijuana now, so it's, everyone's doing CBD oils. You're 21, it's a tobacco law, but still, you need to be 21 to vape, but they're still vaping, so I think there's a disconnect with the, they're being strict about vaping laws also, and yet they're approving at 21 you can smoke marijuana, so I think that's what people are saying, that, you know what I mean, kids are getting confused where it was illegal, and all of a sudden now marijuana is legal in the Commonwealth of Mass, and they can smoke it. So vaping's not that bad, it's just perception, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I think it's gonna take some sort of shock therapy. I remember years ago, one of the best anti-smoking posters that I saw had 2 photos of some people's lungs. One was a perfectly healthy pink lung, and the other one was one that was gray from cancer, the tar. And I remember seeing that, and this was back when I was in college, and some of my college friends saw that, and they showed it to me, and they said, oh my God, some of these guys were casual smokers. They said, I'm never gonna touch another cigarette in my life, and I thought, that's good.
Yeah, I grew up by parasitable smokers. My father died at 58 of smoking, he had lung cancer. I am against tobacco or any kind of smoking. I don't think the human body is meant to ingest nicotine and smoke into your lungs and exchange. It just ruins your body, so I just think it's not a good thing for anybody to smoke, whether it's vaping, smoking, anything.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's gotta be a presentation, something out there that, similar to what you just showed.
I think the most important part is getting people before they start vaping.
Right.
Exactly.
Because once they're into it, it is addictive.
Very.
And of course, as we all remember in high school, the cool kids do all this stuff, so you want to be cool. And so you do it. But if you can get to people before they start vaping, and especially the easy part should be getting to the parents to educate them, because a lot of people just really don't know about it. And I didn't know that much about it until this came out and I started looking into it.
And I think what you need to do, unfortunately, because of people's attention span and the different stress that they have for time, it's gonna have to be some really hard-hitting 3-minute video about like the worst possible aspects of nicotine and vaping, and I don't know, maybe there's something out there that already exists, but
I'm hoping we can look into it. There is a lot of stuff.
And I'll send you all these 3 links and you can.
that would be
look at
great.
them. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think the CDC may have something, but I certainly think that this is really, vaping law is pretty narrow.
lame.
Lame.
Yeah, well, and then they go on to say that Rhode Island passed a ban on the sale of e-cigarettes, but the governor, with the support of the American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, and the American Lung Association, vetoed the bill, which really sends the wrong message. They said it was counterproductive, since it did not introduce regulatory requirements and taxation provisions.
There you go.
That was a money issue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wrong. Well, we think we're coming. So anyway.
I'll work on it and
Yep.
we'll do it ready.
Any information that any of the board members, Jim, or anybody else watching?
When is this
wants
meeting
to-
with the selectmen?
1 week from tonight,
Okay.
roughly 7 o'clock. They said it's
Okay.
dependent on when, we're on the agenda at some
Okay.
time. And I haven't looked, I'm assuming they probably have us meeting with Board of Health, 7 o'clock to discuss vaping. But if they're running behind, it'll be after that.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Are we gonna post a meeting for that?
It
It's already
is,
posted.
it is posted on our website.
And posted.
Are we gonna meet directly there? Or come
We
here?
have to come here and, I mean,
Well, we can meet so 15 minutes ahead of time. It won't take us till 7.
right, 6:45, just to officially meet.
I'll be here.
We adjourn in there or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever's legal.
Yeah.
Okay,
6:45?
6:45 then, I will be here.
I'll be
Okay.
here.
Anything else on?
Goes to 6:45 since you're meeting at a different time. Do you have to worry about that?
You can arrive 15 minutes early, we'll open the meeting right at 7.
Okay.
What time does that say, 7?
7, oh, 7,
So
well,
we'll-
that's true. We
we'll
can
be
be
officially-
here, talk just a little bit.
We'll
and then-
convene at 7 and then we'll go over there.
Okay, convene at 7. All right, I'll be here a few minutes early. Anything else on vaping before we move on to ongoing business?
Just a
What
slow
kind of a
thought.
look is that?
Just a slow thought, has nothing to do with vaping, when we're talking about tobacco and smoking and all this. I once came across, I didn't personally see it, but a deed that talks about land measurements and everything's in feet, and back when I was older, it was in rods.
Yeah.
And this particular deed was, they were doing a distance and it was 2 tokes on a pipe.
2 tokes on a pipe.
That measured how long the land was, it was 2 tokes on a pipe.
A rod is 16 feet,
Yes.
because I grew up on 2-Rod Road, south of Buffalo, in a little town called Wales. 2-Rod Road, there was also 3-Rod Road and 4-Rod Road, just down, several rods down.
Way before the days of GPS.
Where the cows still outnumber the people.
Yeah. 2 tokes on a pipe.
Okay, so let's move along. Thank you for that enlightening story. Ongoing business, Flint Road landfill. Jim?
Gary's been continuing to do his work on, to keep us in compliance with the DEP mandates for Flint Road, our landfill. And he has nothing to report, though I see when he came to the meeting.
Right. I think we're all up to date on
Can we
everything.
skip to Burlingame real quick?
Of course we can, because that follows right in.
And, as far as that one house, Gary has reached out to them, and I'm not sure if the test was already done or scheduled, but he said that as soon as it comes in, he would report back to the board.
Awesome.
So that's just one?
Remember you decided to do the one house?
Yes, yes,
Because what if
yeah, yeah.
that, he kicked into 500 feet, if there was a problem,
Okay,
why
so
make
we're-
that
so
person
we're-
wait, right?
So we're just gonna start with a 1, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
one's better than nothing.
Well, they agreed, and we've been pursuing other people with no, and I think Matt made the suggestion that why should we wait? What if there is a problem, and this person said, yeah, and they waited and waited and waited?
Yeah.
That-
Yeah,
It
that's
could come back and bite us.
It-
Okay.
And at the same token, we've been waiting, we wanna know, and if this one comes back negative, it's a sigh of relief to a
Right.
certain
So-
extent.
Gary said that he would get back to the board. It was a holiday issue there. Remember, he said he would get to them as soon as possible. So I did speak to him, and he said that as soon as he has something to report to the board, he would get that result back. So that's the Burlingame Road, that one house.
Right, okay.
So,
Thank you for clarifying that. Anything else on Flint Road landfill? I honestly don't have anything. Gary was in here recently, had the reports, the DEP, all the testing, everything seems to be in good order there. Kathleen, you're all set?
all set, yeah.
All set.
Matt? Okay, so we will move on then to H-Foot Road, Berry Corner Road, Eleanor Lane, and we have 3 people here that are.
I hope they're happy people.
Are you happy people? Well, happy,
We don't have water yet.
no, I know that.
Did you Ty and Bond's posted a town meeting at, I think it's in the senior center now downstairs on the 5th, I believe, February 5th. It changed, it was a date that I voted on, and she had to change it. But I had to send it right over to John. She said, do you mind if I bypass you and send it over to John? I said, no, go ahead, send it over. So he put it on thing, well, this is from Ty and Bond. They are gonna have a public informational meeting downstairs for the update on the water line for all the residents.
And any
On the 6th.
possible residential complaints?
Yep. They want to address all those now, so it'll be downstairs in the senior center. They couldn't get the library. I'm not sure how many people will be there, but certainly I'll be there. And the board, if you'd like to attend, let me know. We'll post a meeting. But, you know, they want to keep everyone informed. And I think Ty and Bond, all in all, is doing it.
Well, if we just go on this, then we don't have to. post
You're right,
it.
you're right.
Okay. You want to say this? Yeah.
So they felt it was merited. We have our monthly meetings or bi-weekly. They're down to not having them now because it's stopped. I did take a ride through there. The road is better, but you know, there's that strip that's patched and there are soft shoulders. I don't know, how is it with the snow?
The ice has been really awful. I think.
Still a lot of ice around 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
I
yeah,
called once,
exactly.
department.
Did you
Highway
call?
department,
Okay.
yeah.
The town's went up with a loader quite a bit though, so you gotta give credit to them, they're really trying to stay on top.
They're trying to.
Right.
And Ludlow Construction's agreed to keep product here for the road and equipment. But Jerry's not going to wait for this problem. And he'll address it with them later, but he's not gonna wait for someone to come from Ludlow.
I did have one question.
Yes. Go ahead,
Between,
John.
between 49 and 89 H-foot, I think there's a hydrant missing somewhere in between. It's well over 1,000 feet between those two
I think
properties.
it's supposed to be 500 feet,
Every 1,000.
But
750? Yes.
I believe that's the one that is going to be put back in that was in the wrong place.
Okay.
They just didn't get to it.
Oh, all right.
So it will be, at our meeting, we discussed that. It just, they just didn't get to it. And when Jerry put the kiboshes and the weather changed,
Yep.
they
Okay.
decided not to do any more and get that road back in order. And
Do you know where it's going along the road? No.
depending where the ledge and where they can get in now, because it was not consistent with every 75 feet alternating. There was a variance given in the ACO that didn't, it's not your standard if you drive in 75 feet here, 75 feet there, 70, no, it was.
750 feet.
Yes, it's a lot longer. Well, in other towns, it's a lot closer if you're
Yeah.
really congested, but certainly that distance didn't apply here, it was a special variance. So,
So in general, how is the timeline as far as construction and issues, and are they still gonna hit the?
Yeah, they're gonna hit they've got a lot of work, believe me. The work is getting the line in, but I think the work really starts when they try to go tie into the houses and decide to go to some of these driveways. I think that's where you're really gonna, you know, then the decommissioning of the wells, which is, 82 wells that need to be decommissioned in accordance with the Charlton well regs. So we have to, they did take bids on those already, the tree removal that they were going to have done, there's a lot to do, but I think that Ty and Bond has done a good job trying to keep everyone informed, including department heads and the townspeople, addressing issues and problems and complaints. I mean, there were a lot of mailboxes knocked over, there was a lot of issues with passage with buses and people trying to get through. I did take a ride through there just the other day and before it snowed to see, and it's bumpy, but that road has always not been the best. But I'm wondering, like you said, is it holding water now where it's going to cause an issue? And it's soft shoulders, so if it's icy and you go off, they're dropping down. So I think that's what they were trying to alleviate by letting the water was draining down into an area to collect it. And it's not working as good. So, and that's for permission from Todd Gerard temporarily to try and alleviate some of that water runoff on the road.
Any other issues with poet systems or
I'm not aware of.
No,
water?
Matt Wagner is still sending me the updates, and I haven't seen any failures of getting past the filter in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? I'm just reading over some of these notes from Ty and Bond, and it says, it's a project update.
Yep.
It says to ensure the services will be installed without incident, each resident must review and approve the proposed water service alignment. Is that an agreement that they've already signed, or is this an additional agreement?
This is an agreement that basically allows them to tie in and connect the water. That means they're gonna have to have inspections, that means the water's gonna be running to faucet, that means it allows for inspectors to go on their property, they're gonna dig it up, do whatever, but, remember, they're gonna, some people saying they're parking big equipment in their driveway. So they're trying to get out of a driveway and there's a, front end loader there, it's like, well, what are you doing? So they have to be aware of that, they're gonna be working on, say the day they're gonna tie you or you in, it's gonna cause an inconvenience to you, no matter what. Getting into your house, and you're gonna look outside and say, oh, God, but they're gonna have to plant grass, bring it back up.
So, you guys would know, I don't think we would, but did you guys do that already?
I did, yeah.
So,
Some people did, but some people didn't.
because it says it was due by January 25th.
Yeah, the issue that I brought up to Cassandra
Cassandra.
was I don't have contacts for everyone. Not everyone gets my email, not everyone gets on the website, so there has to be an alternative means, and I told her to contact every homeowner that doesn't respond to the, she gets updates on that survey being completed, she knows when they're completed. So I told her by like the 20th, if you don't have certain ones, you should send out a letter the next day to the remaining people.
Yes, Chief.
They did set that date, but if that's not gonna hold, because if they don't have everyone, there's no way they're just gonna go by and not comply with the 80 people that have already signed up. They're gonna have to send out a mailing, if they have to, I told them I would assist them. We sent out mailings before, but some of the people, you have to physically go to their house, they don't open their mail. They just don't open their mail. They throw it away. They don't, I don't know, what's this, I don't know, throw it in the trash. So you have to almost knock on their door and say, hey, and if they have to do that, they will. But they're not gonna let the, the 80 people or 82 that already signed up, that they already have connection. But there's gonna come to a point where they do have to sign, because now Ludlow needs permission to go on their property to start cutting and doing what they have to do. And that's already pre-designed in the plans that we have, where it's going to go, and the homeowners have already seen that. You know exactly where your line is going to be unless they run into an issue. But they've already done their studies on where it should be, so you kinda know, you just have to, now it's the final thing to say, yes, you can, and you can connect in. And then you're gonna have to deal with the well decommissioning and all that other stuff, so it's gonna be a lengthy process.
Yes, John.
And it is important to review them, because initially they had the line going through my driveway, and I said, I'd rather you come straight through the side, because that's where it is, on the side of my house, not up the driveway and around. So just cut whatever you have to trench through and come up the side, don't disrupt the driveway. So, I mean, that saves them money too.
Yeah.
And I guess it's offset by cutting trees and shrubs, but, so everybody should be reviewing that and signing off. And she had me remove all the old survey sheets that were on there that weren't stamped with all the ones that are now stamped by the engineers. So the updates should all be looked at and signed off, and I don't know why anybody wouldn't do it.
Did they do an update as far as, like, in your location where it was originally proposed to where it's proposed now?
Mine was identical to the initial sheets. Mine hasn't changed. They had everything on.
No, I mean the location of your water line.
It was the same as the initial proposal last year,
Yeah.
as these final sheets she just sent me.
Oh,
It
it is.
didn't change.
I thought you said it went up the driveway and around.
Oh, that was the very, very first meeting we had, and then
I
from
see.
that, I think we were at the town hall, no, at the library.
Library.
And they had everyone come up and comment, and they picked them up on the first real set they sent out, and they had them changed the way I wanted it. And then these had the same ones, they just did some more bubbles on it, showing that there was a change from the first release set, saying that there's an irrigation system and to be aware. And I'm gonna go out and, before they come, and dig up the lines so they see them and flag them and everything.
Yeah, because they're just gonna,
They'll tear through them, they'll
They'll
get
tear
full of
through
dirt, and then they'll have to replace heads and everything, so I'm gonna try to avoid that if I can.
Yes, Mark.
I have a question. I believe I heard they said they already tagged the trees that they're gonna take down for where they're gonna go with the water line, because I don't have any trees tagged. So I'm just kinda curious. I kinda know where they're gonna go, and there's a space there. But if they do take out a tree, is there any plans on them replacing with anything, or is that just gonna be an open hole?
just according to this, just to add to your point, it says right here, note that a clear path between the roadway and your home will be needed for construction equipment access. This path may be up to 12 feet wide and travel through the trees. So you're talking not just a hole, but 12-foot wide. Well, that's a
Right,
hole.
because we don't have anything, and there could be a 12-foot space there. My concern is if they do take it down, they talk about they need to make a path. They say that your yard, they're gonna be grass and everything, but what about privacy trees from the road? Are they gonna replace something there, or are they just gonna leave a 12-foot
They're gonna leave a 12-foot?
gap?
Yeah.
So anyone that has.
Not everyone's gonna be affected. Some people, there's no trees, nothing.
Right, but I'm just saying that if there is. I
There's
mean,
one woman who, they marked trees and she freaked out, so they changed it. She didn't want the trees down.
Because I don't see any of my trees marked, so I was kind of curious.
They're worried about you, so they said they're going right down the center of the driveway.
As long as they want to replace the driveway, I'm fine with that.
So,
Boy,
so I heard some of this discussion too, and I don't know if I could be off, but they were talking, some of those trees are town trees already.
Yes, they are. And that's what they talked about. What they determined was already town trees, because based on the Stone Road measurement in, a lot of those trees were already town, so they didn't need permission. Even though people were maintaining them, whatever, they were town trees. So this is the time that Charlton's been trying to get rid of those, because they're ruining the road. It's the time to get rid of them, and that's what they would do. But they're not out there just cut every tree. If they can find an easier way and not cut trees, that's what they're gonna do. But there are gonna be a lot of trees cut.
Can we tag extra trees that we want removed?
I think if you did it and cut them down, I don't think anything would happen, you know? They already put bid on the project, so whoever.
Because there's some in the lines that I would like to have out.